However the no volley zone was explained to you, it was probably explained incorrectly. Generally, the explanation goes something like this. Don't go in the no volley zone. Stay out of the kitchen. Stay out of the no volley zone. None of those are accurate. Let's see if we can bust some of the more common no volley zone myths. Myth number 1, player is not allowed to step into the kitchen. That is false. Player can step into the kitchen whenever that player chooses to, unless the player is hitting a volley or in the process of hitting a volley. Myth number 2, a player must wait until the ball bounces before stepping into the kitchen. That is false. You can step into the kitchen before the ball bounces. You simply cannot hit the ball in the air if you're in the kitchen. An example would be, the other team has hit a dink. Dink is going to be short. I can step into the kitchen, the ball bounces, and then I execute my shot. Myth number 3, which is closely related to myth number 2, is I cannot step into the kitchen to execute a shot. That is false. You can step into the kitchen to execute a shot unless you're hitting the ball in the air. Many players reach for short dinks because they're afraid of stepping into the kitchen. So instead of stepping into the kitchen to receive a short dink, these players reach into the kitchen like this because they're afraid of stepping into the kitchen. You can step into the kitchen to execute a shot as long as you do not make contact with the ball in the air before it bounces. Now let's look at some of the limitations that are actually imposed by the no volley zone rule. Limitation number 1, which is the easiest to understand, is I cannot stand in the no volley zone and hit a volley. Limitation number 2 is that I cannot strike a volley and then step into the kitchen in the same stroke. In other words, if the momentum from the stroke causes me to enter the kitchen, that's a no volley zone violation. It does not matter if the ball has bounced 2, 4, or 12 times on the other side, or the point is technically over. If the momentum of your shot carries you into the kitchen, that is a no volley zone violation. Falling into the kitchen can include your hat falling into the kitchen, touching the paddle down, so if you reached for a volley like this and then touched down to reestablish your balance and got up, that's a no volley zone violation. But those are few and far between. I almost hesitate to include the third limitation because it is seldom seen in most rec play. I'm including it here only for purposes of completeness. The third limitation is where you have stepped into the kitchen, you are in the process of removing yourself from the kitchen, and you strike a volley before reestablishing both feet outside of the kitchen. Because of the importance of properly understanding the rule, let's go over it one more time. You are allowed to step into the kitchen, execute a shot as long as the ball has bounced before you strike it. You are allowed to enter the kitchen before the ball bounces and then execute your shot. You're allowed to stand in the kitchen at any time you want as long as you're not executing a volley. You can do all of those things without violating the no volley zone rule. What you cannot do is step into the kitchen, execute a volley. You cannot execute a volley and in the same motion step into the kitchen. And you cannot step into the kitchen, come out, execute a volley before reestablishing the foot that was in the kitchen. So why am I obsessing so much about the no volley zone rule and trying to properly explain it? Because the misunderstanding of the no volley zone rule results in countless errors every single day. And the error is easy to spot. The error is people playing off of the no volley zone line. People playing like this. People playing entire matches, a foot, 2 foot, sometimes even 3 or 4 foot off of the no volley zone line. Why? Because they're afraid of the kitchen. They're afraid of stepping into the kitchen. So instead of standing within, say, an inch or 2 from the no volley zone line, which is ideal, they'll give up 2 feet off of the no volley zone line. For most people, kitchen violations or no volley zone violations are the exception, not the rule. But if you allow the no volley zone rule or a misunderstanding of the no volley zone rule to affect your play by standing a foot or 2 feet behind the no volley zone line, you're committing an error every single point. While stepping into the kitchen once in a while may cost you a serve or may cost you a point, standing a foot or 2 behind the no volley zone line will cost you many more points than that, and will probably cost you many more matches than that. I hope you enjoyed the video. If it's been helpful, consider subscribing to our channel below. Let us know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like for us to cover. Somewhere over there, I think, is a subscribe button. I'm sorry, what? What? There's more videos? They're on the side? Oh. Apparently you got more videos. They're over there.